Hello there. It is another Wednesday afternoon, and I just had to come in here and share a little bit about what we're doing this week. In particular, on Friday, we are hosting a live webinar. And first of all, Dana, hello. Thank you for hopping on here. And Catherine, yes, because I'm talking about you right now. Katherine and Jaimy, our two amazing neuro vestibular therapists, are putting on a live webinar with us on Friday, and I am so excited. I just had to tell you a little bit about it and tell you a little bit about why I might be excited, and you should be too, about this webinar. And number one, as I mentioned, Katherine and Jaimy are teaching this webinar. Combined, they probably have, gosh, Katherine, you should give me the exact number, but I'm going to say way over 40 years of experience as neuro PTs, as vestibular therapists. And one of the things that I love is they take that deeper dive into the vestibular system, into the neuro realm, and look at the integrative function. So yes, the vestibular system, one of my favorites, so interesting and unique, but how does that layer with all of our other systems, like our sensory system? So that is one reason why I am so excited. Number two is that they're sharing it. They're sharing about the otoliths, which I love when we hit on the parts of the nervous system that are underappreciated. I spent the whole last month talking about the autonomic nervous system. That's one of them that gets like a slide in a lecture in PT school, and I could spend a whole year studying it. So the otoliths are one of those things in the vestibular system. So much attention to the VOR that the otoliths get overlooked, and they're so important. And really, number three here of why I'm so excited is because they are so important. And I have a lot of people that I'm working with right now who come in with stories like, yeah, I'm feeling really lightheaded, but it's not low blood pressure. Or I'm feeling kind of disconnected from my body or a little disoriented in space. I just had this a couple weeks ago, really symptomatic in an elevator. So responding to gravity. So I'm hearing these stories. I'm sure you're hearing these stories as well. And the otolith might be the culprit. So honestly, I might be the number one fan and the number one person going to this webinar because I'm seeing a lot of this. And honestly, this is not an area that I'm well versed in. So I'm relying on the experts. So thank you. Thank you, Katherine and Jaimy. And Katherine did say it's about 40 years combined experience. So I'm relying on their experience to really share about the otoliths. So they're sharing it in the webinar on Friday. I'm so excited. So one of the things that's coming in the webinar, so a little sneak preview here, is they've put together this awesome cheat sheet of assessment and a little bit of where you might start with treatment when somebody has otolithic dysfunction. So they gave me a preview of this. By the way, I'm already starting to use it because it's so helpful. So even if you can't watch the video, which by the way, if you can't join us live on Friday, you can get it recorded. We'll put the recording up for you, all the resources, the references, and this great handout. So it's a cheat sheet, evaluation and treatment cheat sheet for the otoliths. And I've been looking at it. I've been using it. It's changed the way that I'm asking questions already. So thank you, Katherine and Jaimy. But they go through that key subjective and medical history so that you can get down to, is this potentially an otolithic dysfunction? They also go through lifestyle pieces. So important. We're so lucky to have OTs who do lifestyle interventions. Hey, Lily, nice to see you. Lily just joined our video as well. And Lily, we're going to be talking about these topics a lot in our Brain Bites group. But I'm talking about the cheat sheet that's coming with the webinar on Friday because I've been using it and it's awesome. So lifestyle, talking about diet influences here, which are so important. And the objective test, like last week, we talked about subjective visual vertical. That's just one of many that can be used to test otolithic function. Things like the Fukada stepping test, looking at the autonomic component. So last week I also talked about the vestibular sympathetic response, which is related to the otoliths as well. So testing and looking at the autonomic nervous system is part of otolithic function. Testing sensation so that we can look at sensory integration. One of my favorite things, honestly, is testing on a tilt board. So doing some postural writing responses on a tilt board, trying things with eyes closed, orienting on a slant board as well. So orienting to vertical and gravity. All of these are really great ways to test the otoliths. And in the cheat sheet that's coming with the webinar on Friday, they actually highlight all of these pieces. So again, even if you can't come live, you should just sign up and get the video and the cheat sheet because it's awesome. And then finally, a little bit of treatment too. So, often in that first session evaluation, you're going right from assessment to treatment, and where do you start? And so much of where I start now has been influenced by Jaimy and Katherine. They're part of our Brain Bites group. And when we have discussions, this was last year, Jaimy shared this very light-weighted vest that she uses a lot. And I've been loving it. I've been using it with a lot of people, find it very, very effective. It's one of the ways that Jaimy and Katherine will share, you find an off switch, so a way to desensitize or down regulate some of the symptoms by upping the proprioceptive and sensory information. And they've been doing that with a weighted vest. So cool. So they outline different ways that you can start in treatment for otolithic dysfunction, like the reweighting, like finding off switch. And what I really love is having graded exposure, habituation with use of the optimal theory. So a lot of autonomy and enhanced expectancies and vicarious experiences and external focus to grade exposure to movement and to gravity, which is just awesome. So anyway, I've been using the cheat sheet for this webinar a lot lately, and I'm really excited that this is going to be a part of the webinar as well. So this webinar that I'm so stoked about is on Friday, this Friday, June 4th at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. So same time as today, right now, but on Friday, we'll be live on Zoom. There's a link in our bio that you can sign up for the webinar, but it's at reactiveeducation.com/otolith. And if you can't join us live, grab the recording and the awesome cheat sheet that they've created, and just like bask in the goodness of these amazing therapists who are going to share with us. I'm so thankful for them. Thankful for you all for joining me tonight as well. I hope you liked that little preview, but join us on Friday. I hope to see you there and have a really great night.